Okay.
There we go.
And I believe session 1, with the way Nick posted it, it included the dad jokes
Oh, really?
Oh,
to
Good.
kick off. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So we're. Hey, everybody. We're going to give it a couple more minutes to get started. And then I'll dive in with the housekeeping notes. But to entertain you while we let everybody else join in, Victoria, you want to kick it off with some of those jokes?
I don't know. You guys didn't think they were very funny. But I can
What
try.
dad joke is funny.
Go for the
They're funny
single
enough.
computer one.
They're funny enough.
Okay. What computer sings the best? Or is the best singer? Adele. There you go. I did a little
There you go.
courtesy for
I like
you.
it.
Yeah.
Works for
And
me.
if anybody has any they want to drop in the chat, that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
We love a good dad joke.
What do you call a huge pile of cats? A
Oh,
meowton.
I was thinking tetanus. But fine.
Tetanus. Only if they have other claws.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many here. It's better I just scroll past. My wife found letters I had been hiding, proving that I was cheating on her. Now she refuses to play Scrabble with me.
Womp womp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Good
keep shaking my head.
Good
Right.
try.
I think we'll leave them up to Victoria, Dave.
Wow. For no laughs earlier. I'm
Wow.
winning now.
Okay,
Uh,
Victoria, what do you got next?
Okay. What is an alien's favorite place on a computer?
I give
The
up.
space bar.
Oh.
Ooh.
Of course.
Okay, last one though. What does Steve Jobs like to order at McDonald's? Even though RIP, he's not here. But when
Apple
he
pie.
went to McDonald's, no, a Big Mac.
Mm.
Gosh.
Victoria,
Yeah.
what did the skeleton bring to the cookout?
A T-bone?
Spare ribs.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
We have someone who's raising their hand. Maybe they want to share one with us.
Oh, let's see. Did you see Marcus's note?
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah.
You were a tough crowd when I was practicing.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, what's the difference between myself and a calendar?
What?
You don't lose track of time.
Calendar has dates.
Oh,
Nice.
I was thinking a calendar was on time.
I know.
I could have said something else too, but I decided to hold my mouth. So
Okay. Alrighty, we can go ahead and get started unless anybody else has one last joke. Brett,
Nope.
drop one in there.
Got none.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
Why did the developer become so poor?
Why did the developer?
Because he cleared his cache.
Ah,
But,
All right.
right on. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and get things started. Let me drag my little housekeeping notes over here. And we'll get going. Just so for everybody attending, be aware that we are recording. We just want to take this along with the dad jokes and save it for future purpose with everybody to help spread the love. We do want to say, oh yeah, so we have some upcoming events to share with everybody. Some of these are on site in San Diego, and some are online. But the first one, if there's anybody here that's going to be in Portland next Tuesday, FRSecure is going to be a sponsor of Interface 2024. And the link that Brian is dropping in there will give you free access if you want to come and check it out and spend the day with us. I get the opportunity to go up there and do a presentation on FRSecure's 2023 State of Security Report. So it should be good, exciting times. On March 21st, we've got the ISACA San Diego monthly meeting. That is on premises and online. That's available at no cost for anybody that wants to come and check us out as well. We'll have a gentleman by the name of Aaron Wilson speaking on the evolution of cloud security, what has changed and what has not. On April 8th, we've got session 3 of this series, and we'll be covering securing Wi-Fi and network routers. Beginning on the same day, and that's actually when we're going to lose one of our co-hosts, Brian, because he's signed up to help out with this, but FRSecure's CISSP mentor program will begin that night. Brian, is there anything you want to add or say about that at all? On top of that?
Just sign up if you're interested. It's a really good program covering the CISSP certification. Also, just if you want to check it out and see what all the CISSP consists of, go for it. Just know that it is a higher level certification. So if security is new to you, it might not be quite your arena.
Awesome. And I think this is like year 13 or 14, something like that. The company's been doing these for a very long time. The partners. Go ahead.
Are the dates on that? So that starts April 8th. How long does it go, Brian? And
So
what-
it's
how many days?
Mondays and Wednesdays it's 13 sessions total. Or we're doing a little bit differently this year, might be 15, because we usually have breaks, but we're filling those in with like study periods or study sessions. So it's Mondays and Wednesdays on those dates, between those dates.
Awesome. The partners that we do have to be able to bring you this webinar series are FRSecure, Security Studio, the ISACA San Diego chapter, and we're also going to drop a link to the S2Me platform, which is what we're using to walk through on these different sessions. That is available at no cost to anybody. So if you want to check it out, that's available for you too. We just got yesterday-ish. No, today's Monday, so it would have been Friday-ish. Episode 1, the last one, is now up on YouTube, so you can check that out. And let me bring up the other notes. We do want to make these be as open and collaborative as possible. So any questions that you have, you can drop them in the chat or the Q&A. We'll work on them in real time or maybe save some to the end. And we do want, don't be shy. We are here to help in every way that we can. And I just wanted to share, before I get the opportunity to introduce everybody, that this series that we've put together is called Security as a Life Skill. We're going to be doing additional webinars moving forward on different topics, different times, ideas, and things like that. So if you have any requests or thoughts, drop them in the chat and let us know. This particular initiative within that is the Home Network Security Fundamentals webinar series, where we're going to be going through these, the S2 on the 2 topics that we have tonight. From there, I'd like to just kind of introduce all the co-hosts, or let the co-hosts introduce themselves real quick, and then we'll jump right in. Starting from my top left, that would be you, Meg.
Hey, everybody. So my name is Meg Perrin. I'm the Academy Director at Security Studio, which is the sister company to FRSecure. Sorry if you hear my little Shih Tzu barking in the background, but he just started doing that. So what do we want to do? Like, I know you said what we should say. So, what is a normal work day for me? I don't think there is a normal work day for me. Every day seems to be different and pretty exciting stuff. I run the academy over at Security Studio, and currently we have the CVCSO program, which I talked about last time, and we'll be mentioning again this time. But what I really like about this initiative that we're doing is, as you know, from my talk last time, we are on a mission to fix the broken industry. And this is just one more way that we can reach people so that you can become more knowledgeable and educated on information security from your own perspective. So that's why I'm super interested in this.
Awesome. And then we'll circle back on the slide that we've got after.
Yeah, you bet.
Coral, you be next.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. My name is Coral Morgan. I've been with FRSecure for just over 2 years now. There is no normal day for me. With FRSecure, I rotate through quite a few projects, mostly lately around business continuity planning, disaster recovery, and incident response tabletops, as well as plan coaching for people. I do a handful of risk assessments, and I have my set of vCISO clients. So things rotate as the project comes up and the needs are there. This initiative is important to me because I'm with Meg. It's all part of our drive to serve the community from our FRSecure standpoint. FRSecure's mission is to fix the broken industry, and it's important for us to help others understand information security and how to obtain it. So that's why I'm interested in this project.
Cool. And just real quick, I saw something in the chat about CPEs. We will be sending out a certificate of attendance based on, essentially we pull an export out of Zoom, and we do need you to be on here for 50 minutes out of the hour to qualify. It does meet ISACA's criteria. We're not doing polls or things like that just yet, but if you take some screenshots, capturing the time, things like that, we totally encourage you to submit for it, and it will be for 1.5 CPEs. Ryan, back to you, sir.
Yep, thanks. So my name is Ryan Abraham. I'm a senior information security consultant at FRSecure. In April, it will be 7 years since I've been here. My normal workday is I'm a vCISO, so I talk most of the time. But I'm also do Department of Defense stuff and ISO audits and things like that. I have quite a few vCISO clients, so that's pretty much what I do on a regular or daily basis. What makes this so attractive to me is in a different life, when I worked for an MSP, I fixed a lot of home computers, older people's computers, things like that, and just saw them getting constantly taken advantage of. Not knowing the basic security stuff to do things, put passwords on, MFA, things like that. So if I can help anyone do that, that is very attractive to me. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Victoria.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm with FRSecure for 5 years, going strong, hopefully for 5 more. I currently do vulnerability scanning analysis for the FRSecure clients that sign up for that. It could be part of an assessment. It could be part of just that, all that they're there for. Just depends. So every day is different, never the same. Everyone has an issue here and there that we have to help troubleshoot. So that's what I get to do. And then again, the initiative is just kind of like piggybacking on everybody else here. It's, you see these people getting advantage of, you have family and friends that need that help, and why not help educate, and something that they can look back to as a reference point, even though talking to you is more better. But yeah, this way it can help more people than just the people we get to talk to.
Awesome. Brian.
Good day, ladies and gents. Brian Kelley, also with FRSecure in the information security consultant role. I do things very similar to Coral and Ryan and Dave, even for that matter. So I won't bore you with those details again. Just know that it's never the same. It's always very wild and changing depending on what's needed out of us by that time. The reason why I'm here is to help people. That's what I like doing. I get fulfillment out of that, and I like imparting knowledge of things that I might know to people who might not. So the same reason why I'm involved with the CISSP mentorship program as well. That program helped me greatly, and so I just want to give back to those and help others get that benefit that I had.
Awesome. And the man rocking the wallpaper, Mr. Brett Hammond.
Hi, my name is Brett Hammond, also at FRSecure. I am part of our internal security team, and a day-to-day, everything is different like everybody, but I'm more technical in cloud configuration, setting up device security baselines, investigating reported emails, and handling risk assessments, just a big Swiss Army knife of all things security. I really love everything everybody said about what we're doing here, but also just seeing what our internal incident response team is going through on a month-to-month basis against, and these things are being performed against security experts. So if they're at such a high risk, then I think it's really important to get that skill set into everybody's hands.
Sweet. And for anybody that doesn't know, my name's Dave Tuckman. I am an information security consultant at FRSecure, right there with Coral, Brian, and Ryan. And I believe soon-ish enough, I'll be reporting to Ryan. So that'll be fun, and look forward to it. I've been there for just over a year. And I also serve as president for the ISACA San Diego chapter. So all of this, anybody that knows me, I'm always just trying to see what we can do to help support our community and a lot of the people in the community that otherwise wouldn't have resources like this. So I'm real appreciative how this came together, and just a huge thank you to everybody else that's participating as a co-host for want to help make things better. From there, Meg, if you want to, people have had time to see the Security Studio Academy slide. So
yeah, so during our last interaction, I was able to share the story of how Security Studio, the sister company to FRSecure, evolved. Our founder, Evan Francine, took the cybersecurity assessment tool that contributed to FRSecure's success, and he made it available to professionals like you. This is a testament to his dedication to our mission of fixing the industry, which you've heard several of us mention. Another part of our mission to fix that broken industry is the emphasis that we put on education. You're likely familiar with the CISSP program. I know we've talked about it a couple times already, and Brian has mentioned it's starting April 8th. And that course has always been free, and according to Evan, it always will be. Now we're introducing the CVCISO program, which is a natural progression from the CISSP. And we do offer some unique benefits. Most notably is our community. Most people will say that they joined the course for the content, but they stayed because of the community. And we're even starting a local chapter in Minnesota this year. So the great news is, you as participants in this webinar, we're offering a discount code for a $1,000 course fee reduction. You can see the coupon code on the screen in front of you. The course starts April 9th. We specifically chose the 9th to so that it didn't start the same night as CISSP. And that's mainly for Evan, because Evan is actually teaching the course this time, which is a huge bonus. So if you plan on taking the CVCISO, now's the time to do it, so that you can learn straight from Evan. That's it.
awesome. Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump in. Thank you, everybody. So just as a reminder for those of you. We are at, this is a S2Me. If you go to s2me.io, you'll see it. You can create an account at no cost. If I go back here real quick, these are the different 10 sections that the platform covers. And in the session 1, we went over the first 2 here. So tonight we'll be going through choosing and protecting your account login and securing mobile devices. And then in session 3 next month, we'll keep playing it forward. This is where securing Wi-Fi and securing the Wi-Fi router are. So I'm just going to click there, begin topic. And Meg, if you don't mind, I'll read this one because it has
Yeah, you bet.
small words and such, so I can do that.
It's right up your alley.
Yeah, it's totally in my wheelhouse. So the question's asking, do you have accounts online that require a login? Well, if you don't, look at that. Brian, what's the highest score somebody can get?
850.
Yeah. So if I don't have anything, I'm like sitting solid. But this also asks for an email address to sign up.
Yep.
So it's not that easy. So if we say yes, and Meg, I'll let you read what the risk is that relates to this one, because that has big words. And we should help with, and then we'll dive into the
Well, I'm really glad I can help you that way, Dave.
more than you know. Yeah.
Okay, so if you do have accounts that require a login, which we are going to assume that would be everybody that's here, the risk that is associated with that is account logins are a favorite target for cyber criminals. It's important that you keep all account information secure, especially those related to finances and your healthcare. All right, so 3.2, I'm going to read the question, then I'm going to ask one of our lovely panelists to, I guess I shouldn't refer to the guys as lovely, right?
I would.
Just knew it
Our-
didn't include me.
I'm good
It
with that.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, one of our awesome panelists to give you what their response would be. First question, 3.2. I use multi-factor authentication, commonly known as MFA or 2FA, on all online accounts that could potentially hold or process sensitive or private information. Examples are email, social media, financial accounts, healthcare related accounts. So do you use multi-factor authentication? Cora, why don't you go ahead with that?
Sure. I absolutely use an authenticator. So you can use Duo, you can use Google. There's all sorts of different authenticators that are out there that will help you set one of these up. Excuse me. However, not all accounts that you sign up for online have the ability for you to enable multi-factor authentication with the site. So there are certain records that you can't do that with. One of which is my, believe it or not, it's my healthcare online, one of my healthcare online accounts. I cannot enable MFA on that account. And I really wish I could, because my healthcare information is there, and so is all of my dependents. So I do have 4 kids, so all of their information is also available if you log in as me, right? But I absolutely have MFA enabled for my Facebook account, for any financial account. The last thing I want is for somebody to have access to something electronic like that and then siphon off money without my knowledge. So,
Cora, what are examples of ways that you could do MFA? Does it have to be an app on your phone? Aren't there different ways that MFA can happen? Like biometrics, I'm thinking, or
You can, yep. A lot of the times, the app is the easiest for most people, right? Something you know is your password. Something you have is going to be like your device, like your cell phone, right? A lot of people are using the apps on the cell phone, because you have to have your cell phone so that you can access the app to get the code. You can use biometrics to go ahead and do it too, but a lot of the times when that is considered, we're usually talking about the requirements to get into it, like a data center, right? So the highest, most applicable level of security is going to be that biometrics to get into someplace super secure.
I have a story about biometrics.
Shoot.
My daughter, who's my mini me, she can access my phone with Face ID because she looks like me.
Ryan's
She
got an
can
opinion.
use her face to get into my phone. So it's not foolproof, that's for
It's
sure.
not.
It's not, no.
It's not.
No.
All right, and were you gonna make it so that the risk shows on that one? So we can
Yeah.
talk about what risk that,
I would add on MFA too, like Coral said, as much as you can, and I think authenticator apps are the best. But even if a company can't do anything except SMS text messages, something is better than nothing. So take whatever you can get.
Ryan, what is the unique differentiator or benefit that somebody gets by adding MFA?
You have to have two different things, hence the two-factor. So I have to have a device, I have to know something, I have to, you know, if I'm an attacker, I'm going to get into your account, I might know your username and password, but can I get to your phone?
Because what's
So
the
I'm
rule in
protected
CI?
more than just with what my password is.
Yep.
Because the rule is something you know, something you are, or in
Then you have.
something you have.
Yeah.
And you need 2 out of the 3 to
Yep.
qualify, if you can.
so an example of something you know is like your password.
Yep.
Something you are
That's
is
the
a-
biometrics that you were talking about.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
fingerprint, Face ID, and then what's the last one?
Something you have.
Something to have.
Something you have, so that would be your phone with an authenticator. Okay,
Yeah, and there is a fourth one. It's like where you are or something like that.
Yeah.
But we'll
Like
stick with it.
geolocations.
Yeah.
somebody put that in chat, Geo. Yep.
There we go.
So
oh.
yes, so the risk associated with that are, you know, obviously it's much easier for hackers to get access to your username and password without these things than it is with these things. So MFA is a big deal, which is why it's probably the first question.
Yeah.
All right, 3.3, all the devices I use, desktop computers, laptops, mobile phones, tablet computers, etc., are secured with authentication. So you utilize strong passwords, pins, passcodes, etc. Two-factor. Is that true or false? And let's go with Brett.
And that should be tough because I think we know two-factor authentication for a local account vis-a-vis a local administrator account or what you sign in to unlock your computer, you're going to need to get third-party tools to set up MFA. Am I correct on that, Ryan?
Yeah. Like a Duo or something like that.
So just to open your device, that is also a password that stays on the device. So it's something that we're worried less about getting out into the wild. And as far as the pins, I know working in the Microsoft Cloud configuration, they make it really tough to push out via mobile device management pin requirements. So we have to switch it all up, and essentially what we're doing is having a pin that is actually a password and setting certain requirements for the pin so that we get past that 4 characters, right? We don't want to just be typing in 7777. We want to be typing in a stronger password.
Yeah, and just real quick from what's in the chat, Jack. The way I kind of look at it, if somebody's going through this and checking not sure, they should know or find someone that they can ask and try and learn, and learn from. What everybody else is saying is that if we were to click not sure or false, the risk doesn't go away. It just means we didn't understand what it was. Sorry, back to you, Meg. Shut up.
Yeah, so not sure is basically saying you really don't know, and we're going to assume it's false if you really don't know, essentially. And without the use of this authentication, everything on a system is at risk of compromise. So this is a big deal too. We got to make sure we've got our passcodes that are protecting our information. You never know, and nobody intends to lose a laptop, a cell phone, etc. But if that were to happen or it was stolen, you want to make sure you're protected. All right, 3.4, all of my passwords are long, meaning 10 characters or more. Let's go with Victoria.
Yeah, I mean, the longer the better, the more complex the better. I can say actually yes to this because I do use a password vault and I'm lazy and I have it generate it for me by setting the parameters, which I do recommend to anybody out there. No one likes to come up with passwords, but the reason you want it more than 10 characters, and it should say complexity in there, if I must say, but it doesn't, because the longer it is, the more challenging it's going to be. Yes, KeyPass is another good one. But the more challenging it will be for someone to try to guess your password and break into either your laptop or application or device, whatever it is that they're trying to get into that you're trying to keep secure. You know, the shorter, the more quicker it's going to be, especially if it's a common word. You know, the weather, the seasons, the year. If they find out stuff about you, like who your kids are, their birthdays, your name, they're going to try that stuff. So we also try to stay away from things like that and just make it as random as possible so that it's much harder to guess, because the more time you have to spend on something, the more likely they're going to go away. So
Yeah, I just want to share this real quick.
I was just bringing
oh,
that
that's
chart up.
beautiful chart.
Yeah, look at all
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
colors.
Look at
Is that the
it.
latest one, Mike? Or Dave?
It's 2023, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, like Laurel said. But you can see if you look at the number of characters, and what the complexity is, as it gets to, well, that's at 10. So, and somebody put 15 in there. But yeah, so if you're there, you've at least extended how long on average it would take to crack that password. So,
And I'll kind of explain this a little bit. The
yeah,
password length, right? Like we see the final column, we have numbers, upper, lowercase, that's 52, 62 possibilities plus symbols. That's a little different depending on the platform you're on. But every single added character that you add in length is going to times it by that number. So you're exponentially growing the possibility of combinations.
And I'd also like to say, if your application or device allows it, a passphrase is amazing to add to that, right? So the phrase is, I am happy and sad. I don't know, whatever you want to say. But then you have spaces in between, and having those spaces. And then also, now we're going to zhuzh it up a little bit, right? With different characters and stuff for the letters and symbols. It's going to kind of put it in that green zone in a way. If not, then the yellow zone, which is even better. So, yeah.
Does everything accept a passphrase?
No, I have applications online when I try and do a passphrase and it hates me and says I'm not within protocol.
Yeah.
And I want to say I am, but I have no one to email. So
I've noticed that when they accept spaces, they don't necessarily say that. So it's always something you can try, but some places don't accept passphrases because they don't
Right.
accept the space. But you could do like a underscore between, or
Yeah,
something.
if it allows
Mm.
that
If it
character for an underscore,
Mm.
absolutely, that can take place of that. But again, if you have a password vault, or if you're looking to get one, it'll help generate a really ridiculously long password with a lot of characters, and all you have to do is keep it in that password vault. And then you can update it every 90 days to keep it even safer.
Yeah.
So
Whoa, you're getting ahead.
Say,
I'm
I would
sorry.
say- oops.
Sorry. It's in the
Current
blood.
recommendation is definitely more than 10 characters. So I took a note. That's probably a number we need to change, because even in the CVCSO course, we teach longer than 10 characters.
I just recently read the late great Kevin Mitnick said 25 characters.
25. Wow.
Some places don't even
I've heard
accept
12 and
25.
I was gonna say,
Right.
I do have one that it will not accept anything over
Yeah.
15. I was like,
Same.
come on, get with it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Okay.
We'll get together with Brett and he can forward who that is, what Kevin Mitnick said.
That's right.
Because
Right. We're gonna
Kevin
get
was a
'em.
good one to listen to,
Mhm.
So, okay.
So let's say no. Let's say our password is not longer than 10
Oh,
characters.
you're such a
False.
rebel.
All right. So using those short passwords puts your systems and information at a significantly higher risk of compromise. And as we saw from that chart, you got a good idea of how much higher. All right, 3.5, which of the following passwords is the strongest? So if you were to look at those three based on what we just said, what would you select? Ryan?
Ooh, if I get it wrong, do I have to turn to my CISSP? I'm gonna go with the middle one.
No, but it'll make it real fun
Yes.
on Tuesday.
Yeah, can we pause the recording quick? No. It's usually length is the best, so I will go with a middle one.
Okay. Does anybody else want to challenge him, even if you're online?
I don't know, but I'm feeling kind of nervous. Like, now I'm kind of second guessing my skills as well. I'm like, I don't know.
I
Length.
did too
Okay.
originally
The
when I
middle
took it.
one
I
is
was
all
like,
about-
I'm like,
yes.
oh, it's the bottom one. I was like, ooh, wait, no.
Eh,
All right,
I
well, we'll go with
because-
that one. And if anybody wants to provide a drum roll.
Okay.
I'm trying to find my mic. Is that working?
Oh,
Correct.
it's correct.
It's all about length. The longer you are, and you can bring that the scale up, how long it takes to do that.
And you get to keep
Okay,
your
it tells you
CISSP.
Yep.
All
Now,
right.
there in the
It-
chat, it was there was a comment that said the second one is easy to guess. I think a lot of people, if they have dictionary
I was
attacks,
thinking too.
will have standard things built into it. So that is a consideration. I mean, I wouldn't be using passwords are cool,
Exactly.
but you want it longer.
But
That's-
for
I
a
was
computer
gonna-
to cycle through all the combinations.
Yep.
All right, good job. Okay, 3.6, I change all of my passwords regularly, quarterly, or semi-annually, even if I'm not forced to. All right, Dave. Tell all those ISACA people how often you change your passwords.
Are you
What's
a
the
good
truth?
security professional?
Hang on. I think my mute's
He's changing
not
them.
working. Yeah, my mute's now. Yeah, I'm trying to change them real quick. I don't do it quarterly. I will do it every 6 months. I do use what do we call you? Bitwarden. Bitwarden is the password manager, and then it will cycle through every 6 months and change those. And to Victoria's point, I do use passphrases, and they are over 10 characters.
No. Good
So
job,
here's
Dave.
my question.
But we're
Here's
gonna
my-
say no, Dave doesn't, just so we can see the risk. See, Dave's bringing into the environment.
Here's my question about the changing passwords.
Yeah.
Because as one of the newer people in the industry, what I don't understand is if we go back and look at that chart that you put up and you choose a good password, it could take a billion years for them to figure it out. Why would we change it then?
Who wants to take this one?
I would love to. For starters, you're really depending on the user setting strong, complex, and unique passwords across all their logins. If you have the strongest password in the world and it's in a system that gets breached and it's out in clear text and you have that used for 10 different accounts, you can just blast that email across all kinds of different things. So it doesn't really matter how complex it is in the end if there's a breach, and we can't really control that ever.
So you got to think of the weakest link, right? So you might be secure at your organization or at your home, wherever it is that we're trying to protect. But yeah, like if my stuff gets hacked into, then I could be the weak link that then now compromises Ryan, Coral, Dave, and Brett, because we're all in the same system and it has everything listed there in a table. So it doesn't matter at that point, you know, what's going on, like Brett said. So there's a great website though called Have I Been Pwned?
I was just gonna say, is there a place I can look that up? Can I figure out if there's a compromised password?
Kinda. So Have I Been Pwned? It's an open source thing from the community, and it keeps a database, there we go, of if your email has been part of any sort of breach ever. Right. And so then what that tells is like, no, don't go change your email if you can't, right? Because that gets complicated. But just go change your password that you have in for that email and all your other accounts, and making sure that those passwords are not all the same. Because if one gets known, like Brett said, now someone can just do some recon or reconnaissance and maybe look to see what else that you log into and try the same password. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Meg,
Yeah.
in addition to what everybody else is sharing, as much as I love my wife, I don't trust her.
Dave,
That's a strong marriage, Dave.
Yeah, the solid foundation.
there might be a reason why you're in the basement.
And it's locked from the outside.
Uh,
But no,
Yeah.
solid answers, and maybe there's others online that do trust my wife.
I'm still stuck on Dave's doesn't trust his wife.
bang.
We can take that offline.
Okay. Okay.
Just, yeah.
All right. 3.7, I use a reputable password manager application. So we've had several people post, or some people posted different ideas in the chat. Do you use those to make it easier to keep your strong passwords organized and secure? And let's go back to Coral.
I do for work. So my first exposure to password vaults was through work, because I used to be an IT domain admin. Up until then, I hadn't had a password vault. That was quite a while ago too, so I will throw that out there that we're probably talking a good decade ago before I had to use one for work. I will admit, my personal use, I am not one to like change very much. Kind of a creature of habit. My husband was using a password vault long before I was. So with my own personal use, it took me a while to go ahead and get on the train there, which I'll admit, probably not the smartest thing to do, because I was also one of those people where I would use the same password across all of my accounts. So I don't do that now, right? But I started out as one of those people. So I can see how easy it is, because nobody has time to remember all those passwords. They don't have time to write them all down. But it's absolutely imperative to utilize one. With mine, I can access it with a web browser. So I have an app on my phone. I also can log in via the web browser. We use Dashlane for home. and it's fantastic. Everything I need to log into is there, so it just keeps everything nice and neat, which is great because at this point now with the kids, all the kids have accounts for school, and to gain access to their records for school, like there's so many accounts now, there's no way I'd ever be able to go ahead and keep them all straight. So
I was going to say, unless you're a savant, like I don't know how anybody could do it without a password manager.
yeah,
Like it's so key. Unless you're a savant or you don't log into a lot of things, like then maybe it's possible.
maybe.
But for the average person, I think it's necessary. Somebody did put in the chat, I think they deleted, but if they find their name on that, I was pawned or something, what should they do? If they put their email on that site and they find out that it's been compromised.
I would change that password
Change password
that is
immediately.
associated with that email. So wherever you're using that email and that password that's associated with it, then you need to change that password.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
would even
even
qualified for that. If you might not even have the same username or the same email and password, but if you're using the same password with different accounts, I would go change all of those too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if we marked false, then what are the risks? What kind of danger are we potentially putting ourselves in? Strong passwords insecurely increases the likelihood that they'll be disclosed to a cyber criminal. Oh, storing passwords
Yeah.
insecurely increases that likelihood. All right, 3.8, I do not allow websites to remember my password when logging in. Oh, guilty. All right, Brett.
man, we all have a walk of shame tonight, don't we?
I know. Well, and so does it count if I'm now using Apple's built-in Remember My Password, which is their key vault, which is actually a password manager? Because I do that.
You just
say
have
no.
to be muted.
Yeah.
Is it saved in the browser and part of the cache?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
No, that wouldn't be.
No, I don't think
suppose.
for the
No,
Apple one, it's
no,
not, no.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
no, not in Safari. No. So
Not
I've
in
never
the-
done this. I actually adopted password managers before I even got into security. Somehow, I don't know how. And I will mention, just to touch back, Meg, as far as the have I been pwned, pretty much all the major password managing companies have a built-in breach watch now, where they're alerting you to specific passwords in your account that have been possibly compromised.
Okay.
And this goes, I think, we've talked about the session hijacking, which is another way to bypass MFA, but we just want to be clearing everything out of our browsers always. We don't want anything stored in there that anybody can get access to.
Okay, so going back to, I'm just curious about this because I have a Mac. So if I use Safari browser, there's a built-in password vault. Is that what I heard?
For all Apple devices, yes.
I didn't know that. Thank you. All right, so if you don't do that, if we choose not to do this, then you're allowing your password to be stored on the computer by your browser. And that password storage could expose your password to another user of your system or malicious software that inadvertently gets installed on your system. So those are the risks associated with allowing the browser to remember your password.
And just thinking of a couple breaches over the last year or two, some of these browsers are the places that are storing your password in clear text.
Yeah.
So they go in there and it's just right there.
Yeah, and the whole idea, I think, when browsers started offering that was based on convenience. Security was never an element of it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes away eventually. Okay, 3.9, I do not use the same password for multiple accounts. Victoria?
Trying to think, do I answer truthfully or do I answer for the
Oh,
question?
you gotta be
Um,
truthful.
Oh, you gotta be
Oh, you gotta be
truthful.
truthful.
No, I don't anymore. I used to, because heaven forbid I have to forget my password and have to get into something, right? Or I would change like a number or a letter or, but it was still the same darn password. But now that I have my password vault, which I also use Bitwarden, I don't anymore because I made sure they're all different. And what's beautiful about the password vault, since I'm trying to sell it so hard, is that it will tell you if there are any accounts with the same password so that you don't duplicate.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make you change it, but at least it makes you aware of it so that you can change it, which I find very, very helpful, right? So no, not anymore. I do not use the same password for multiple accounts.
How about your
But
husband?
oh yeah, he does. So we're on Struggle Street there.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
have access to all of our critical accounts. He does not, which I said in the last session when he would get like a bad email from like, oh, Netflix is going to close your account because of this. He goes, well, joke's on you. I don't even know how to get into my next Netflix account because my wife controls it, so and it's because of that, because like he doesn't like to memorize, he doesn't want to use a password vault, he doesn't want to write them down, and I don't want him to write them down. I just want him to use a password vault, so I take control.
Pick your battles, right?
I did pick my battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the risk, what we got?
Okay, go ahead, Victoria. You can address.
All right, so the use of a password on multiple accounts could expose a password on one account through an inadvertent compromise of a separate account. So kind of what we were saying about I've been pwned or have you been pwned, right? And if anything else happens that we've talked about. So for instance, if you use the same password on an online banking account and you do your social networking site, compromise of the social networking site could lead to a compromise of online banking account. So
Oh.
yeah.
From an IR standpoint, I did work as an incident response engineer in one of my previous jobs, and this was one of the ways that the work account got compromised, is because the Verizon account password was compromised originally, and the Verizon account password was the same as the account password for the organization.
Bummer.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that was a quick, easy win, and at the time we were struggling to keep up really quick. We were
Yeah.
like, what is going on? This guy's not even here. What's going on? So, but there is that. So keep that in mind, because if, like we said earlier, if you're using that same password across multiple accounts, it's easy to go ahead and get in.
Nice. Okay, Ryan, the next one's on you. None of my passwords are on the 25 most common passwords list from last year.
And
I
just
hope not.
just to give you a reference.
Can we update that number from 25?
Well, this is Wikipedia, so I'm not
Let's be
sure.
real.
I mean, we
The-
could, but I'm not even.
I put the
I'm
new
not
link
even
in
sure.
chat. There's a new one. It's
Oh,
the top
yeah, yeah.
1,000 or 10,000 now.
Oh,
Oh,
So
Ooh,
this-
top
10,000.
1,000?
I
Yeah,
think
the link in there is old. It doesn't have up-to-date information.
Where-
I think the
Ooh.
dictionaries that attackers are
Oh.
using are like in the tens of millions of passwords.
Well, I can say, as a pen tester in training, they actually, even if they're script kiddie, right? So they're brand new trying to test things out, there's actually a script pre-built out there in the wild, and that just gets ran against stuff, and it has all the dictionary words. So they don't even have to know them, right? It's already, they just push enter and it runs it through the system and checks it as like an AI type scenario.
Rocku.text, I think, is
That's one of them. Yep.
one of the
That's
top
one of the bigger
ones.
ones. Yeah.
And we were just talking about this, those password dictionaries, right? This would be it, right? This would be one of them. It's 10,000 passwords. You put this into one of your dictionaries, and you can use your script to run against this amongst all the other things that are available out there for hackers.
Yep. And you just get a kickback and do something else while it doesn't, and then it tells you
Mhm.
everything it's
Yeah.
having.
Hey,
Yeah.
Victoria, 8,342 is Victoria.
Oh, don't
That's
use her
password.
name.
Is that right?
Dang it.
Yeah,
Eight
I
what?
made the list.
8,342 it
1,000.
looks like.
But it's not a common name in the US, but it is a name, right? So any name is also going to show up there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I had to scan it real quick to see if any of
This,
mine were on there.
and I have to say, if anybody's
are.
watching today, and if you have a password, it is no shame in the game. But let me tell you, if you have a password that is winter 2024 or fall or summer, and it has this year, last year, or next year, right? If you're trying to be coy and do 2025, please change it. Our guys use that all the time as a tryout, first and foremost. You know, I'm here to give away all the secrets because we want to try and help people. If it's a season and the year, change it now.
What if I want to do though, what if I've got to push out a temporary password that people will use to log in the first time and create their own? Can I still use winter 2024?
I'd rather you not.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'd try to avoid it. It just
Yeah.
it just contributes to poor password hygiene.
It's not best practice.
Also, what happens when that person actually doesn't show up for their first day of work and that account never gets disabled and it's just sitting there on the system?
Mhm.
Nobody clears it out.
Yeah. Good
No, but
point.
that's a good question, Meg.
Yeah.
All right, so these common passwords, this is the risk. These common passwords are likely to be compromised by an attacker in seconds. The use of any one of these passwords will significantly increase your risk of account and or system compromise. All right, 3.11, I do not share my passwords with anyone. I think I'm on Dave. Dave, are you answering questions or do you want me to skip you?
Well, you just need to ask me ones I know the answer to.
This one has small words, Dave.
It does. It does. And passwords is one of my passwords. So I remember.
And
That
and you
one.
don't trust your wife, so we're not going to share
Right.
passwords.
So
with her.
yeah, no, of course I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, of course I don't. Yeah. But I love her. I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just don't trust her.
Is she on here?
She's upstairs.
She can
I'm
hear
still worried.
everything.
I'm still worried about your wife, Dave.
Well, she's not down in the basement with me.
Have her blink.
So, but let's say Dave did. What would be the risk?
All right, so each time you share a password with anyone, you have increased the likelihood that the password will be divulged to someone that you didn't intend for it to be. So do not share passwords.
Even
Even-
if you trust someone, look at that.
Even if it's your spouse, unless you're Dave, because Dave doesn't trust her anyway.
Well, it doesn't say spouse. It says someone you trust.
She's
And we clarified that
already
earlier.
disqualified.
Most
Yeah.
people trust their spouse. And so I could say you shouldn't even be sharing it with your spouse, but we know you wouldn't because you don't trust her anyway.
Amen. Amen to that. There
Now,
was a
what
lot of
about
truth
your
in that.
Wi-Fi at home password?
Oh,
Do you share that?
Are
Yes,
you,
that
you're
works.
asking me?
Yeah, you should have a
I'm
different
asking the
SSID
panel.
for that.
Okay.
You
Brett,
should have a guest
what-
Wi-Fi
what's
at
your-
home.
a
what's your
guest
answer to that
Wi-Fi.
one?
Mhm.
For sharing passwords,
Yeah, like your
Sharing
Wi-Fi.
your
I-
Wi-Fi password.
I have a guest network named Stuff.
Stuffed.
And who uses
That's
that one?
pretty locked down. I don't have any friends, so the only person who's logging into my Wi-Fi is me and my wife. So I don't really
So
have to
you
worry
share the
about it.
password with her.
But sharing passwords, as far as like, I have a YouTube TV account that I
It's
do
a
share.
yes or no question.
Yeah, I
You
do. I
share
do
the
share. I
Wi-Fi
do share
password
some
with your
passwords.
wife.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, you bring up a good point, Brett, though, because I have like YouTube TV, right? And so in order for someone else to access it on his iPad,
Mm-hmm.
if my husband's traveling, then he's got to know what that password is, you know? Or same thing with my kids. You can access that on your phone even. But outside of my family, then it's the guest network for the Wi-Fi.
And do they even share
Probably.
that password? Probably.
Yeah. I don't trust my children. I know that much.
Yeah.
So Victoria, what I did
Yeah.
here, in all seriousness,
Yeah.
is there's two Wi-Fis. I gave one to my wife and my son. And then the other one, I'm the only one that knows the password. And that's what I use for me and for work.
So like anything can happen to their stuff and you're like, you're
I
on your own. You made that
exactly.
choice. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair.
We had that family conversation.
Yeah.
Circle the wagons around. Just
The kind of guy that when the house starts on fire, you're gonna push them down to get out.
Yeah. No,
Right.
he's gonna be already getting a hotel
Okay,
room.
so here's my question. Because I'm always representing the people that don't know as much as you and very intelligent people. If I have Wi-Fi at home, and how does it help me to give friends a guest password if they're still accessing my Wi-Fi? So what does the guest password, the guest network do?
It's network segmentation, is Howard just threw in right there. So when you set up a guest network, it has a different subnet, and they have a combined route that reaches the internet, but the subnet on one Wi-Fi cannot speak to the devices on the other subnet.
Okay.
So it protects you if you are like Dave and you have Dave's own stuff on his own subnet. That means if the kids are playing games, online games, or if they're listening to online music or streaming something, if they come across a virus or some malware, that can't transverse from that segmentation to Dave's segmentation. So his systems would still be okay. And then he would just have to go ahead and focus on fixing his son's, right?
Or if
Okay.
one of your guests had TikTok on their device and joined the network and it scans the network because that's what TikTok does, it
Mhm.
won't scan your devices.
yeah, it won't see them to be able to scan them.
Did everybody hear that? What TikTok does?
You
Say
should
it again,
repeat
Ryan.
it. Yeah, you should
Say
probably
it
repeat that
loud.
again.
Say it proud.
Controversy right here.
Yeah.
So what the TikTok application does, and it goes through licensing, you have to accept it and everything, but it comes in and says can it look through your network for other devices and stuff, and it does that so that it's it can share from one to another. That's what it's saying. At the same time, it's also scanning the devices, fingerprinting them, knowing what you have, knowing the type of operating system. It has a bunch of information, sends it right to the company called ByteDance. And what they do with it from that point, I'm not going to get into. But yeah, it does scan your network devices.
And I believe Hisense TV, well, let's just harp on China while we're at it, right? They have built-in backdoors to the Chinese government too. So if you connect a Hisense TV to your network, you are giving the Chinese Republic access to your network infrastructure.
Wow. I know that.
Yeah. And Jack had a good comment up earlier where if you just go, I forgot my password each time on every site, you'll reset it. You don't have to know what it is.
Yeah.
It'll add a few extra clicks, but it's it
And-
works.
Olayed, I believe that just doing the guest network is segmenting it. So Olayed
Correct.
has, how do you segment your home Wi-Fi? And that was the guest network. That's correct, right? Peeps.
Correct. You can do it manually, but I mean, I've shut down my network plenty of times messing around with that stuff, so not recommended.
And depending on the type of router or access points that you have at home, some can be a little bit easier, some can be harder. I had one a while ago that I could just spin up SSIDs, but they weren't network segmented. So it didn't work. I ended up returning it because it didn't do what I wanted to do. But just make sure if you're going to do that, it is a decent enough router or
Mm.
firewall or access point.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next section and just be aware we got a half hour to work through these, just to be respectful of everybody's time. Do you use one or more mobile devices? Meg? No one's
Okay,
asked
so
that
that
question yet.
includes laptops, iPhones, iPads, Androids, watches, wearable tech, etc. Absolutely, positively, yes. Which means
Look
we've
what you
got
just opened up.
a lot of things that could happen. So the risk is that every mobile device you use should be secured appropriately. Each device is a potential target for an attack or an opportunity for accidental information exposure. So 4.2, my mobile devices, which includes laptops, iPads, Androids, iPhones, etc., watches, are all secured with authentication, a hard to guess passcode, a strong password, and or a biometric. And I believe we're on Brett.
Perfect. Right back to the passcodes. And on the phone, we were talking about this actually in consultant training at FR, and I went and did a little digging. I was able to set a 30-digit PIN on my iPhone with
Wow.
using a custom PIN, 1, 2, 3, up to 10, did that 3 times or to 0. Not recommended to use that. And they also
Dude, we're recording.
do warn you to when you type in something simple like a 1, 2, 3, 4, they allow you to pass by the warning, but they do tell you that this is an easily guessable passcode. So definitely keep something strong on there. I like the facial recognition. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's just like the easiest thing in the world to just hold my face up to my phone and roll through all my sign-ins.
From a security standpoint, though, just because it's easy doesn't mean you should do it.
That is true.
Bomb
I
drop.
like the fingerprint one. I like doing my fingerprint.
Okay, I ran into a fingerprint problem. Not saying don't use a fingerprint, but I actually got a scratch over the top of my finger.
Oh,
And that temporarily, until it healed, altered my fingerprint.
Wow.
Mm.
And it didn't like it. So just saying, just be kind to your fingers if you're going to use fingerprint.
There you go.
Yeah.
So obviously the risk involved with this is that if you have a mobile device and you don't use authentication, you are significantly increasing the risk to your device, whether it's stolen, taken, misplaced, whatever. You're really exposing yourself. 4.3, my mobile devices, we've already talked about what those are all encrypted. Victoria.
Well, I can say yes to that. Just because at least the default encryption that comes along with the device I have enabled. And then my work laptop is taken care of by Brett and company, where we have like things like BitLocker and such in place. So
Apple products are really good for this because
Yep.
it's just by default, like you said. We are not an Android family. If anybody knows, is that the default option with Androids?
Ryan did some digging, didn't you?
Yeah.
On one of the calls.
Yep. So actually, we were looking at it, I believe it was last Friday, that Androids now will encrypt your device by default, but you have to set up a lock screen for it to do it. If you do not have a lock screen on it, then it will not encrypt the device by default.
Good to know. Thank you.
Real-time information. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Always rely on
Rock.
Brian for that.
They're really good, aren't they, Dave?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, Android?
No,
Dave.
the
Back
people.
away, Dave, back away.
Yeah. No, I'm in a basement.
J- just click false and move on, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Short sentences and small words.
Can you handle that?
Yeah, I'd be at a low.
All right, the failure to encrypt, and it sounds like most things default that way, but the failure to do that obviously increases the risk of unauthorized information disclosure. 4.4, I do not allow others to use my mobile devices, including family members and friends. Coral.
Man, if I have to be honest with it, I'm gonna bomb it.
Yeah.
There's been more times than not where I've handed my phone off to a screaming kid in the store as I'm trying to grab, you know, the staples so I can go home and make dinner for my screaming kid, right? Like, here, just watch this you know, PBS kids show real quick. Um, I wish I could say that it was true that I don't allow that, but I do in my household. However, I will say this, I do have monitoring available on all of my home devices, and I have everything routed through my own personal firewall here at the house. So
Yeah.
we keep a pretty good eye on things, especially since there's probably a lot of people here. When kids came home from during the COVID pandemic, right? It was pretty much free reign with their iPads when they came home. There were no security, anything, no controls on those devices. And so we had a problem with my oldest, who was in middle school, who would constantly get stuck on YouTube and not pay attention to anything else that they were supposed to be doing, like their homework, and just get caught up in the reels and the constant videos, right? We blocked it on our firewall directly for her devices. Haven't had a problem since. She's a great student now.
Yeah. So, you know, Coral touches upon the risk here, and it's really just a matter of, you know, your device, you know what you're doing on your device, right? So you know whether or not, if you're looking at a phishing email or going to a website that maybe you should, that isn't an HTTPS website, or what, you know, a whole bunch of different things. But whoever's using your device may not be. So allowing friends or even family members to use your devices, it really it could compromise you, because you're subjecting yourself to whatever they're doing on your device. And that's the biggest risk there.
It's much
4.5.
easier. I was just
Oops,
going to say,
sorry.
it's much easier now that if you can spin up your own separate guest network and they can use their own device to do their
Right.
stuff now instead of having to use
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah. Okay, so I have set up remote wipe capabilities on my mobile devices so I can erase them if they are lost or stolen. Ryan, it's your turn.
Well, I don't have an MDM or anything like that, but if you do miss my PIN 10 times, it will blank my phone. So yes and no.
Mm.
I mean,
If
how I've
I'm-
done it, how I've done it traditionally in different places I've worked is use a mobile device management, and I can find that phone through that MDM. And if it's there or wherever it is, if it's on, I can hit a button and it will blank the phone instantly. I do not have that on my phone.
So can you guys help me understand how I would do that?
I think for me, it goes into the risk management side of things. And if you're using like an Apple, since it is encrypted, if you have a PIN on there, you can set it up so so many incorrect entries in that PIN will automatically format your phone. It'll blank it. It's a standard user. That's what I would do.
Okay, so it takes it back to like the factory default.
Yep.
If they
I'd
do
love
that.
to tell you to go buy a mobile iron or an Intune license or something like that and do it, but that's not practical.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the risk involved if you don't do this, not using remote wipe capabilities may leave your information exposed on a lost or stolen mobile device. So again, it increases your risk. 4.6, I make sure to install all security updates and patches immediately for my devices and the applications running on them. And Brett, you're up.
I do this.
Believe
This
you.
is every day. Every
I'm
day
a month
I'm looking
false.
for patches. We can throw false so we can see the risk, but
Mhm.
and
Do
that's
you
something
really, Brett?
I really do.
I would love to say that I'm as good as Brett, but I'm not every day. I mean, I might let an update go
Oh.
for a week or two.
I am
Never done
too.
that.
I usually have like a small waiting window at least, right? Because usually if there's a patch rolling out for one of the operating systems, somebody is going to know about it pretty quick. And if it requires a fix for that patch, that's also going to happen really quick too. So
Mhm.
I usually have it, I'll admit, I have it like at least a 2-week waiting window here at home.
What if it's an iPhone update push out for like security, like a 0 day or something like that? Do you let it still kind of linger?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
You're
I'll do
such
it
a
a little bit
rebel.
quicker on that, but I'm not like daily like Brett.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
way.
Brett. Come on.
There's
I
no
just
way.
feel
You
like
know,
I feel like you're
I
just come
I
on,
was doing
Brett.
research into web app pen testing, and I found some bug hunters who discovered a vulnerability in the iPhone. This is a number of years ago, where they were able to remotely download malicious code by just sending you a text message. You didn't have to open it. You didn't have to. Now, this wasn't given to the public. They were paid $1 million and rode off into the sunset. But there's just stuff out there, and these updates for the iPhone, I want to make sure that that for sure is getting updated day one.
You know why I do mine regularly? And I mean, I do it the day I see it because I can't stand the little red dot on my phone notification.
Oh.
Mm,
Is your email
Ooh.
inbox also really clean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't stand to have any red dots. It drives me
Getting
insane.
We're getting to know you, Meg.
I was gonna say, hey Meg, would
Yeah.
my 38,000 unread emails, would
Oh
that bother
my
you?
God. Yeah, that would drive me nuts. I don't even care if I don't read them. I got to get rid of the red dot.
That's funny.
I just have to.
No
Okay.
shame though. No shame.
All right. So the risk involved, or
Oh,
maybe we already addressed that.
Yeah, I thought we did.
I think we could.
Yeah, we did. Okay, 4.7, I turn off Bluetooth when it is not needed so that unauthorized devices cannot connect to mine. Ooh, that's a good one. Who am I on? Coral?
I'll go for sure. I'll be honest,
Or did I
think-
skip Victoria?
I don't think we have Bluetooth enabled with our devices here at home.
No one has wireless earbuds or anything like that they
No.
bop around to.
watches.
No. Well, even
your
I mean,
watch.
I'm
Oh,
like, even
yeah.
mine. Oh, I will tell you, I do have a watch. So I
Mhm.
do have a smartwatch. So there you go.
Mhm.
See? I just need somebody else to go ahead and talk about what my risk is.
Let's point out all your risk, Coral.
Yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
down the list.
You're in a safe space.
Have I introduced you to my closet?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess our iWatches would be part of it for sure.
But you got
But everything else, like I mean, I'm still old school. Like I don't know why, but I still like the wire being connected. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, one of the problems with the Bluetooth too is that if you turn it off, my watch automatically disconnects and I can't keep steps. And then I got to
Right.
go manually do it and stuff. So I think you have to just be aware of what's going on. I mean, I leave it on, but if something pops up, check it every so often or get an alert. And if that alert comes up, say, why did my phone just go off?
Yeah. Yeah, because I keep mine on too. It be for those same reasons. Like there's things that I need it to work. So, but the risk if you don't, like any other network service, using Bluetooth or keeping it on when it's not actively and purposefully being used, it increases the risk of compromise
Mhm.
through some kind of unauthorized or unintended mobile device connection. All right, 4.8, I have disabled automatic joining to all Wi-Fi networks on my mobile device. And now we'll go to Victoria. Sorry, I think I switched that around.
No, it's all good. We're all having a great conversation. I actually do disable auto joining, because I'm not always at home. And if I do have it as auto joined, I mean, think of how many places have now free Wi-Fi. Most of them, if they're public, they don't have password enabled. And if they do, it's like very simple to break into. So I just don't want anything from that Wi-Fi network now hopping onto my phone or trying to and tag along with me for while I'm in that area. So
I
yeah.
just found out today my neighbor bought a Samsung dryer and it has Wi-Fi enabled and it's open. So
Ryan,
after this
behave
call, I'm gonna
yourself.
connect
Ryan,
to
I
it
was-
to shut their dryer off.
Behave. You are a CISSP, sir.
So
For the
you
better,
can
I'll
hot-
find it. I'll do it. I don't know which one when they start getting mad at me, and I'll tell them to go secure it.
Are you gonna go do their laundry for them?
Oh my
From your
gosh.
house.
See
I
what
just
can
got a
do.
washer that's Wi-Fi connect. You can connect to Wi-Fi.
Yep,
Yeah.
You
secure
can
those
get
things.
alerts on your phone.
You gotta be careful.
I know we're not
Yeah.
on the IoT thing, but a lot of those things have default passwords and stuff that are just
Yeah.
available online. And
Yeah. I did not connect mine. So.
good.
Um,
All right. So the risk to that is your mobile device is more at risk of compromise and your network traffic is more at risk of disclosure when you enable your mobile device to automatically connect to networks. So it's a good idea to not allow that, especially when you're traveling.
Yep.
And I mean, like even commuting to work, or I used to have mine open to Starbucks. And you can just be by a Starbucks and then it would automatically connect you.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
always seeking what it can
Yep.
find. Okay, we got like 10 minutes and
Okay.
4 more questions.
And we have 4 more questions. All right.
Yeah.
Whenever I conduct business and or perform sensitive transactions over a public Wi-Fi network, I do so only through a VPN. And let's go with Ryan.
Yes, if it's gonna be public Wi-Fi, yes, I do. I can't tell you the last time I connected to a public Wi-Fi though. I always hotspot on my phone.
Mm.
So
And for
especially
people
with a
who
work
may not
computer.
know, I was gonna say for people who may not know, why is connecting to your hotspot better?
Because I have a password set up and I'm the only one who will be on it. If I would go through a public Wi-Fi like a Starbucks or anything, yeah, we do have a VPN that's installed so I can encrypt all that traffic so people can't eavesdrop on me. But I don't even join those things anymore.
Yeah.
Fun
I don't-
story. In school, I had an assignment. You take a thing called Wireshark, and I'd sit in a Starbucks and see what traffic I could capture. And then you can actually, if it's not encrypted, decipher everything that person is sending from their device. So just to let you know.
Including username and password.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clear text password, right?
Anything. Yeah.
Yep. So VPN.
Hey, and just real quick, and I know we're pressing against time, but if anybody's interested in a VPN, Cloudflare, normally they're a company that does better latency or better, faster delivery on network connectivity, so websites load faster, but they've taken their whole international network and they offer a VPN that can run through that at no cost.
Well,
And it's really cool. It will encrypt. It can address against like high risk sites. And you already know that any IP address or anything that it's using is clean because their network has to be. So, and it's available at no cost.
Is that the Zero Trust VPN replacement, Dave?
Yeah, you can do the zero trust where you're managing them, for like an organization or a family. Or you can get that just as a standalone VPN where you would manage it on your own device. I think it's called Warp. Cloudflare Warp or something like that. Anywho, back to you, Meg.
Right. So for point 10, when I dispose of a device, I take it to a secure recycling center to ensure my data is destroyed. We are on Brett.
Well, this I know is false because I'm always trading it back into the company.
What about your personal stuff? You're not getting off of these.
No, I mean my personal phone.
think
When I
that's
buy a
what
new
he's talking
phone,
about.
Trade it
I
into
trade in my old phone
Yeah.
to get a
Oh, gotcha.
discount on the next
Gotcha.
one.
Okay. Well, that's good enough for a false, so we can see what the risk is.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing to ensure the data is destroyed. I do wipe it.
I was gonna say, at least you do factory reset it, right?
Yeah.
They won't
I've-
take it if you have Find My iPhone turned on or whatever.
Yep.
So they make you be a little stringent about it.
So
Yeah,
Ryan,
usually-
you would suggest that if people are going to do that, to at least do a factory reset at a bare minimum.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, if I sell, and we already talked about it exposes you. If I sell or trade in a device, I reset the device to factory settings and remove all personal data first.
Yeah.
I think we just kind of answered
Yeah.
that. We want somebody to talk about it, or just obviously the risk involved with that is, you certainly don't want somebody that's going to buy that used device to get access to your stuff. So you want to make sure that you like that.
I would also say maybe this is too paranoid too, but whatever like type of device or accounts, email accounts, whatever you had that embedded on that phone, go ahead and reset those passwords as well.
Yeah.
Mm,
Like I said, maybe a bit too tinfoil hat, but why not be safe?
yeah.
Paranoia is perfect awareness.
All right.
Um,
Last question. Oh, sorry.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was just going to go back real quick to the other one with the disposing of devices. What would you guys recommend, since this is a good topic? Ryan, what would you recommend for people who are wanting to dispose of old laptops?
A hammer.
Oh my God, I was gonna say the same thing.
In fact,
I was gonna
I
say
was cleaning
power
out a
drill.
room and I had found 6 old ID hard drives, and I just gave my daughter a hammer, put it out in the driveway, and she went to town. Just
Nice.
destroy them. I drilled holes through them, just destroy it. They're not worth anything. Even if you're gonna like recycle a laptop and you had sensitive information on there, you can replace the hard drives for like 50-60 bucks. Go get a new hard drive, take the one with your information, and just destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I want to give an older laptop to one of my kids?
Then I'd probably format it and give it to them, depending
go
on what they're
with-
gonna do with it.
Like the 411 section, right? Just pop it back.
Yeah.
I would
Yep,
say if your kid is
factory
going to
default.
school for ethical hacking, then I probably would give them a clean drive.
Yeah, give
Yeah.
them a brand new hard drive on
No,
that one.
give them some fun one.
Paul says, I hope they don't leave it on the bus.
Yeah.
And always run it through like your risk management processes. If you had something on there that was so sensitive and for some reason it got lost and got exposed, are you all right with that?
Yeah.
And if you're not, put a new hard drive in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good self-check.
All right. Our final question for this section is, do you use any Android devices? So let's go ahead and let Brett talk about this one. Or maybe we should let Dave, since he likes Androids.
Yeah, I don't use Android devices.
I do not. I
I was totally kidding.
yeah,
Go ahead, Brett.
apples are easier to use. So that would,
I mean, I'm in the Apple environment. Do you want to hit yes
Yeah,
on that actually?
Yeah, just to see what the risk is here.
And I think this has been addressed. So here's the thing about the Android
brought up another
devices.
one.
I think they're more
Hmm.
they have a higher risk because the users are able to go and find things in the Google Play Store that isn't as monitored as closely as the Apple Store is. But you really have to go above and beyond to find this stuff. Google makes it very difficult. So, I mean, on the surface, I think Android devices are still pretty darn secure.
especially now if they do the encryption.
Yeah, they're
That
definitely
helps.
moving in the right
Yeah.
direction now.
Yeah. But if you do have to select yes to that, if you do use Android devices, then you can see another question popped up, which is wondering whether or not you have an antivirus on that device or some kind of anti-malware software.
Do any of us have an Android? Or are we all Apple?
Is anybody? I
I
am.
have
I'm Apple.
Apple.
I'm an Apple.
Yeah.
I switched to Apple when the 15 came out from Android.
Okay.
When was that?
Not very long ago.
Yesterday?
That was October.
Okay.
So it hasn't been too long.
So what if we hit no? Is there another question?
So,
Added risk.
Just another risk.
Oh, just another risk.
Okay. So we know that the added risk, Android devices are more susceptible to malicious code infections. So just know that if you are an Android user.
Yeah, if you're trying to be a power user, then make sure to have an antivirus on there.
Okay, and we've got a question here. Lizzie wants to know, what would we recommend for the malware antivirus? She
On
says
phones?
malware bites, question mark?
Well, on phones,
I thought Avast had a decent one.
I think,
Avast does,
yeah,
Just don't use a
Avast has
free
one.
one.
What did you say, Dave?
Don't use a free
Oh,
malware. Yeah, but there are several. If you were to do a quick search, you'll see, because Apple's, the way they're set up, aren't as applicable for malware in that sense that an Android is. And the manufacturers of software like Malwarebytes or ESET know that, and then they'll have solutions available.
awesome. All right, that's the end of our section, and
Yeah.
it's 7:31. So Dave, close us up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, this has been awesome. Again, thank you to everybody. Do hate saying goodbye to Brian from the series, but we'll remain friends, and I know where you work, so we'll see ya. But no, just thank you to everybody. Thanks for everybody that attended, and we'll be back next month to work on the next two sections. That's what I got. If anybody else has anything else they want to add, or we can all just wave at the same time to say goodbye.
I just wanted to say thanks for the conversation tonight. It was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
absolutely.
Right on. All right. So I need one hand to close it out, but
Okay.
fine. There we go.
Take it easy,
All
ladies and
right.
gents.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Cool.
Bye.
Awesome. Lord, I have to go use the restroom. It's been that way for about 20 minutes.
I was gonna say, stop recording, would you?
Bye.